Guam, Micronesia, and the CNMI. Cars Plus Hyundai, home of the Kona electric vehicle, an electric heart with an SUV soul. Test drive yours today at Cars Plus. McDonald's of Guam, I'm loving it, and King's Restaurant, serving your local breakfast, lunch, and dinner favorites for over 45 years.
Ahead on your news leader, Guam Department of Education holds a work session. The focus, it stands on transgender females playing school rugby. And a settlement was reached regarding the incident in which a Manilao solar project entered onto the adjoining property and the marble cave, causing major devastation. Plus, FQ Sanchez Elementary School in Humatak is named to the National Trust for Historic Preservation's annual list of endangered places. Daniel Perez finds out what this means. These stories and more right now on KUAM News Primetime.
Hafide, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Voice of the Marianas. Guahusia Isaiah again, and thank you for joining us. In tonight's top story, KUAM's Hannah Devonzo reports a settlement has been reached between the Office of the Attorney General and the companies involved in the July incident where sediments damaged Marble Cave. Here's the details.
After 9 months of litigations, a settlement has been reached between the Office of the Attorney General, Samsung E&C America Inc., and KEPCO Manilao Solar. In July of 2021, one of Guam's most historic attractions went from crystal clear water to being muddied with sediment and stormwater runoff from a nearby solar farm under construction. The companies involved are now paying the price.
In addition to cleaning the cave and to managing the cultural resources, they have agreed to pay up to $950,000 to the government of Guam.
This is the largest recovery the AG's office has ever recovered. They plan to spread the funds across the board to benefit the environment.
$525,000 will be handled by our office and will be used strictly for environmental and cultural purposes, which is why we're joined by both our partners in the Center for Island Sustainability and Guam Preservation Trust, and specifically $200,000 of that award will go to the Center for Island Sustainability.
In addition, $200,000 will go to the Guam Preservation Trust, $50,000 will go towards the beautification of the villages, specifically Manilao, as it's the village where Marble Cave is located. Other recipients include
the landowners, the surrounding landowners. There was a road that was impacted, so $25,000 will go towards repairing the damage to that road. And the remaining $50,000 will go towards training all of our regulatory agencies to assist in both enforcement and monitoring.
According to the Attorney General, the companies have been cooperative and proactive during this process. At this time, there is no word of when Marble Cave will reopen as it's privately owned. Hannah Devonzo for KUAM News.
The Guam Department of Education recently responded to the Guam Rugby Union stance on transgender females being restricted from playing girls rugby for the remainder of the school year 2021 to 2022 season. Here's the report.
In Guam Rugby Union's 3-page letter released on April 28th states, quote, World Rugby, like our union, prioritizes making the game as safe as possible. Because of this fact, rugby eligibility rules cannot allow the risk to players to be increased by allowing people who have the force and power advantages conferred by testosterone to play with and against those who do not, end quote. Guam Department of Education Superintendent John Fernandez appeared on KUAM's The Link on Thursday morning. He stated that GRU's letter to bar transgender females from participating in all high schools' girls division is invalid.
That the failure to provide notice to us and to the players that these are the rules that they would like to follow, that meant that they couldn't, under our directive and as vendors, really, they're really vendors of the department, they aren't allowed to dismiss our directive, and they are required to allow participation for transgender females in girls rugby.
However, GRU says that they sent their laws and regulations for school year 2021 to 2022 to ISA in March. GRU runs the league for the Interscholastic Sports Association, which is under GDOE. Policies are set forth by ISA. KUAM News has learned that this past weekend, the transgender athlete, a part of Guam High School's rugby team, was sidelined. Fernandez said that GDOE is looking into the matter.
Well, what I understood was that the athlete in question did not participate in this weekend, right. And we did send an inquiry yesterday or earlier this week to try to understand whether or not that was done at the direction of Guam Rugby or whether it was a voluntary action by the athlete or the school.
Fernandez pointed out that not authorizing transgenders from participating in this sport would violate Title IX, which protects discrimination based on gender identification.
And as a recipient of federal funds, we are bound to comply with what is called Title IX protections against discrimination.
As of April 29th, at least 8 states had banned transgenders from participating in school sports, according to Reuters. GDOE and the Guam Education Board held a work session Wednesday to discuss the matter.
And we understand that there's more work to be done here, but it's a little bit difficult when we're dealing with an ongoing situation where there is a specific athlete already playing, and then to say you can't play, that's something that we think is going to be very risky for us to do, given the fact that we haven't really established guidelines that we feel comfortable with in general, for not just rugby, but for all sports.
Over the summer, Fernandez said that GDOE plans to put guidance together for the leagues on the transgender participation and how to move forward into next school year. As we reported first, seasoned high school rugby head coach Conrad Kerber called for a ban on transgender girls playing in the league after 3 members of his team were injured by a, quote, transgender player of Guam High, end quote.
At least 3 weekends worth of matches are left of the season. The Guam Education Board has a special meeting scheduled for Monday, May 9th. A bill that bans abortion once a fetal heartbeat has been detected generated a flood of in-person and submitted testimony Wednesday. The hearing saw emotional testimony both for and against as the issues of abortion continues to divide the community.
More than 800 testimonies were received by the Health Committee, 127 in favor and 678 in opposition to Senator Talina Nelson's bill to impose civil penalties for assisting in an abortion once a baby's heartbeat can be heard. OB/GYN Dr. Annie Bordallo testified that the measure misses the real problem, improving women's access to health care.
When we fix those things, you're going to see that abortions will be very, very few. But until we fix those things, I don't think it's fair to make these kinds of decisions for, other people who, their lives aren't our lives.
Choice is at the heart of one argument, and the protection of the innocent unborn child is at the other. But as Dr. Bordallo and others have noted, it may all be moot if the U.S. Supreme Court, as now expected, reverses the landmark decision that legalized nationwide abortion almost 50 years ago.
Roe v. Wade will be overturned, it sounds like, in June. So it's going to come back to this body and this community. And there's a lot more support for not regulating this kind of thing.
And Senator Joanne Brown says if the High Court does return discretion to states and territories,
no matter what side you are on the issue, whether you support us because we're pro-life or pro-choice, you win and lose either side because you have a divided community. Certainly for me, when I make the decision, it's going to be my decision from my perspective and taking in everything that all of you are saying. We don't live in a perfect society. We're imperfect, all of us are, no matter where and what status we have in life and what we do. And that's the challenge.
It's healthcare. Abortion is healthcare. Abortion.
For KUAM News, I'm Nestor Lecanto.
There's still been no confirmation from both the governor and the congressman on their respective annual addresses to the public. And so far, neither camp has commented on a specific target date to deliver their speeches. KUAM's Nestor Lecanto reports.
The annual State of the Island and State of the Congress addresses are traditionally delivered early in the year. They're typically a much anticipated opportunity for the governor and the congressional delegate to showcase their accomplishments and their top priorities for the remainder of the term. But it's now May, and neither Governor Lou Leon Guerrero nor Congressman Michael San Nicolas have set a date, despite the requests of Speaker Therese Terlahi. The Speaker invited each of them more than 2 months ago to deliver their addresses at the Congress Hall. On March 1st, she wrote to the governor, "I invite you as the governor of Guam to appear before the legislature to deliver your State of the Island address to the people of Guam. Please let us know at your earliest convenience when you would like to schedule the event." On the same day, she wrote to the congressman, I invite you as delegate of Guam to the House of Representatives to appear before the legislature to deliver your congressional address on important federal territorial issues to the people of Guam. But having no confirmation, the speaker wrote back 3 weeks later. On March 25th, she emailed the governor. April is fast approaching. In order to prepare for the event, I respectfully ask for confirmation by close of business tomorrow of a specific date in April for the State of the Island address so that invitations can be sent out next week in accordance with our protocols. On the same day, she emailed the congressman. As you know, this is no longer mandatory, but has been traditionally afforded Guam's representative in Congress. Respectfully, we are currently trying to confirm the legislative calendar for April and May, and your response no later than April 1st would be greatly appreciated. But the Speaker's office says so far neither has confirmed, despite repeated requests. Adloop Communications Director Crystal Paco San Augustine says they don't have a schedule for it at this time, and Congressman San Nicolas has not responded to our query. Who goes first and when? That's what the Speaker wants to know. What we do know is come August, Leon Guerrero and San Nicolas are facing off in the Democratic gubernatorial primary. For KUAM News, I'm Nestor Lecanto.
So to come on Your News Leader, FQ Sanchez added to the 2022 list of America's 11 most endangered historic places and an amazing art show at Price Elementary School. These stories and more coming up next on KUAM News Primetime.
Northern Marianas, rise up to the challenge! June 17th through June 25th, the Northern Marianas will be hosting the NM Pacific Mini Games 2022. Athletics, badminton, baseball, beach volleyball, golf, tennis, triathlon, ba'a, and weightlifting. Visit northernmarianas2022.com and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Thank you to our sponsors, Joten Dadai Foundation, T Galleria, Tansu Lin Foundation, Elin Group, Northern Marianas College, IT&E, MARPAC, Docomo Pacific, McDonald's of Saipan, Mobile Out Micronesia, Bank of Guam, Triple J, and more.
Half a day. My name is Jerome Kinata from the village of Umate. I've applied for the program in Salapi to help me with my daily commute from Umate to Mingilao. Thank you to this administration for the program in Salapi. I have received my program in Salapi.
The application deadline for Program in Salapi has been extended to May 22nd, 2022. For more information, please visit doa.guam.gov. This ad was paid for by the Office of the Governor using government funds.
Let us know what's up on our KUAM News WhatsApp tip line at 671-727-0094. Share information about what's happening in your town, on Guam or the CNMI, and what you want us to know. Reach us on WhatsApp at 671-727-0094.
Welcome back to Your News Leader. Humatec's only school has been added to the 2022 list of America's 11 most endangered historic places. With the details is KUAM's Daniel Perez.
It served as Humatec's only school for more than 6 decades. Now FQ Sanchez Elementary School has been named to the National Trust for Historic Preservation's annual list of endangered places. The National Trust for Historic Preservation has used the 11 most endangered historic places to raise awareness about the threats facing some of the nation's greatest treasures. Chief Program Officer of the Guam Preservation Trust, Joe Kinata.
It is exciting. We just received notice from the governor that the funds to rehabilitate the school is on its way to the Guam Preservation Trust. The Guam Preservation Trust that nominated the FQ Sanchez School back in late last year in November into the America's 11 most endangered historic site program. And amongst all of the submission from the nation, FQ Sanchez School made it to 11 most.
The school was built in 1953 and designed by world-renowned Modernist architect Richard Nautra. Its name comes from Humatec resident Francisco Q. Sanchez, the school's first principal and an early pioneer of historic and cultural preservation in the village.
Richard Nautra's son, Raymond Nautra, was online to share with us a story of his father and a story about his father designing the FQ Sanchez School, as well as the school in Alahan and the school in Adelup, where the governor's complex is. He also designed the government house. but the historic FQ Sanchez School is the only structure that is really intact as he left it back in 1953.
The school has been closed since 2011. However, in March, Governor Lou Leon Guerrero signed Bill 172-36 into law, which would allow $3.5 million in funding to go towards the rehabilitation of the school. With the school now placed on the Endangered Historical Sites list, Humatak Mayor Johnny Kinata hopes that more funding will be available to add to the renovation of the learning facility. With FQ Sanchez being added to the list of endangered sites, the Guam Preservation Trust hopes that it will attract more visitors from the mainland and around the world to learn more about our island's culture and rich history. Daniel Perez reporting for KUAM News.
Visual arts students from Captain H.B. Price Elementary School are inspired to think outside the box, all thanks to 2 art programs. We stopped by an art show this morning at the Manila campus, which was put together by kindergarten through 5th grade students enrolled in the Visual and Performing Arts program. Gisela Gayo, the teacher from the College Career Civic Engagement and Life Readiness program, which is federally funded, has been working with this group of students for the last 2 months, challenging them to see the bigger picture.
Well, first of all, I always like to do creative things, and it also teaches them what you can do with waste. You know, you can make a beautiful bowl out of newspaper. I think that's a neat thing to know. Or it's also nice to know that you can make out of newspaper, you can make sculptures, you know, animal sculptures. So it's a good skill for the kids to have and enjoy.
Some art pieces were also on display from students under academic, gifted and talented education, Mrs. Vicky Lauren's class. Ania Fernandez, the 5th grader at Price Elementary, shared with us what her favorite project was and explained what she learned from the program.
The project was making a dream room. So I made my dream room all about plants and nature. So in my project, or my dream room, I like clay, paint, paper, cardboard, and actually some branches and plants that I made. It was one of my favorites because it made me more creative and more about nature. Being more creative and more like artistic, because I wasn't actually that artistic when I first started.
Fernandez added that the challenging part of the project was paying attention to the details, but the best part was seeing the whole thing come together. Caterpillar made from self-made paper, papier-mâché sculptures, bowls, animals sculpted from self-hardening clay, among others, were shown at the art gallery as well. Over in the CNMI, over 50 students, cadets bagged 16 national trophies in the Junior Reserve Officers Training Corps Tilt in California. KUAM regional correspondent Tomas Manglotnia met them just as they returned home with trophies in their hand.
We weren't expecting anything, but just to see that, you know, some of our hard work paid off was just awesome.
Over 50 student cadets from Saipan, Tinian, and Rhoda saw that hard work translate to the 16 trophies they brought home after fierce competition at the Golden Bear West Coast National Drill Meet in California.
Once you kind of just go into the mindset where you can just have fun and experience something outside of your borders, I mean, you can do wonders with that.
The NMI's high schools took the top spot in the Army's Traveling Trophy and Unarmed Novice Exhibition category, surpassing over 20 stateside school drill teams.
It really depends on the team, how hard and committed they are. If they're committed and they believe and work hard, they'll definitely win.
This was the first time all public high schools in the NMI competed in the annual tilt across the unarmed, armed, color guard, and saber competitions.
Beyond than just performing well in the competition, this was a proving point to them that even though that we are a speck on the globe, they can go out and represent internationally, globally. So, you know, getting them to see beyond the shores of the Marianas has been a really good experience for them.
Tomas Manglotnia for KUAM News on Saipan.
We should know Guam's John F. Kennedy High School Islanders also brought home 5 trophies, placing first in armed varsity, sweepstakes first in exhibition, armed varsity second in outstanding commander, armed varsity fourth in regulation, armed varsity and second in exhibition, unarmed varsity and second in exhibition, unarmed varsity. Come out and celebrate the first ever Serena Festival happening on Saturday, May 7th in our island's capital. You don't want to miss the family-friendly activities honoring Guam's legendary tale of a girl who transforms into a mermaid. Hagatnya Restoration and Redevelopment Authority Executive Director is Lacia Casil.
Celebrating food and religious festivals, holidays, but this is the first that really celebrates our local legends. We're going to have food trucks. We'll have activities all day, starting with a women's fishing derby, the first ever women's fishing derby.
Other activities happening, a paddle out in honor of the Serena legend beginning at 9:30 at Axe Murder Tours. But to kick off the event, an oceanside cleanup is happening, and the meeting point is the Statue of Liberty in Paseo. More fun and games are taking place, so make sure to drop by on Saturday at Skinner's Plaza from 4 to 9 p.m. Also, don't forget to tune into KUAM's Hotspot tomorrow for a preview of the festival, Serena Festival. Stay tuned. Up next, our Dave Delgado with your roundup of local sports, and later, KUAM's Jonah Gonçalves kicks off her weekly series, The Power of Purple, Living with Lupus. Keep it here. You're watching KUAM.
If you really want to find out what you're made of, you can forget the personality tests and social media quizzes. Because the only way you're ever going to know is by heading into the big, wild, raging, so damn beautiful it hurts world and finding out for yourself. Were you born to follow a path, or were you born free? These are the things we thought about when we made the new Grand Cherokee. Made for what you're made of.
Don't need a work break, keep the smile on your face. The moments you can't replace, and I'll be around. Whoa. You can count on me. You can count on me for life.
Wherever life takes you, we're always here for you. Calvo's Insurance. Count on us for life.
Hey, Mars, good evening, man.
Good morning.
We like to say we're in the business of opening doors. Since first opening our doors in 1972, our love for our community has driven our legacy of service. We've seen paths to bigger and brighter futures.
So, what are we saving for? School?
We've seen the heart of our people.
You ready for this? Yeah.
We've seen our communities come together to help one another. We've seen passion become successful business plans. We've seen generations of families grow with us.
Wow, that was easy. Wow.
And when we think of all the doors we helped to open, we can't help but be reminded of the reason we're still here today. Our people.
It feels like we're in a time loop.
Because we get white hot ranch nacho fries every day?
Yeah.
Same dip, different day.
Spice up every bite with the new white hot ranch nacho fries at Taco Bell.
KUAM Sports is brought to you by Docomo Pacific. Better together.
Fury Promotions is delighted to present the return of the Marianas Open 2022 Jiu-Jitsu Tournament tribute to Paul S.N. Shimizu, to be held Saturday, May 7th at the Teason High School Gymnasium The Marianas Open will feature international referees from throughout Asia, the U.S. mainland, and South America, as well as some local referees. Competitor early weigh-ins will be held on Friday, May 6th at the Teason High School Gymnasium from 6 to 7:30 p.m. and will also be held on event day starting at 7 in the morning. Doors at Teason High will open at 8 in the morning on Saturday. First matches will begin promptly at 8:30. General admission entrance fee is $10 for adults and $5 for children ages 6 to 12 years old. Guam Time is partnered with the Guam Behavioral Health and Wellness Center for the 8-hour burpee challenge to raise funds for local mental health programs. The event takes place this Friday, May 6th at Paradise Fitness in Agana. To watch and donate, check out guamtime.net.
All this really stemmed from last year when we partnered with Frank the Crank Camacho on the 24-hour walk for homelessness. And especially during COVID, it's no secret that a lot of us have been affected financially and through our mental health. So us here at Guam Time, we're very much a community-based platform. Our business doesn't exist without the community putting on events, attending events, so we feel it's our obligation to give back to the community when needed. And we couldn't have thought of a more important cause than mental health for this year, especially because we're still in the pandemic. And that's why we decided to do the 8 for Mental Health with the Guam Behavioral Health and Wellness Center. If anyone in the community wants to donate, just go to guamtime.net. In the 8 for Mental Health page, we have a donate button at the top. 100% of the proceeds that are donated online will go directly towards local mental health programs here on Guam.
KUAM Sports is brought to you by Docomo Pacific. Better together.
Need a new phone? Trade in now and get up to $500 off our best 5G devices. Trade in your older phone in any condition and step up to better savings and speeds only our 5G network can provide. Check out our website and catch up on the best mobile experience. Trade in now. Docomo Pacific. Better together.
Pop it like it's hot. 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 Pop it like it's hot.
Pop my classic and spicy 50-50 popcorn chicken combo. Only at Jack in the Box.
Half a day.
Hi.
That will be $20, please.
I forgot my Mobile Smiles driver's rewards card.
No worries. You can now use your registered mobile number to earn points.
Can I use my mobile number to redeem rewards?
Sure. Just show us your photo ID or driver's license.
That's easy.
Welcome back to Primetime. May is Lupus Awareness Month, and every Thursday, KUAM's Jonah Goncharfus will introduce you to some incredible individuals who are living with the autoimmune disease. Tonight, we kick off The Power of Purple with Angelica Gumatau.
The Power of Purple, Living with Lupus, is brought to you locally by the Bank of Guam, the People's Bank. It was in 2010 when 37-year-old Angelica Gumatau started to feel sick, from extreme fatigue and headaches to joint pains and sensitivity to the sun. She recalls how it got worse from 2014 to 2015.
It wasn't until May 2015 where I was actually told to get some special tests run and that I may have lupus. Officially diagnosed, I've been living with lupus since June 2016.
Lupus, a chronic autoimmune disease, can cause inflammation and pain in any part of your body. According to lupus.org, 9 out of 10 with lupus are women. And like many living with this disease, flare-ups can occur, and is a feeling that Gumatau says is difficult to explain.
The worst of the worst days. It's days where you can't even get out of bed. Days where you struggle to even just hold a spoon or a napkin, even to take a shower, even just the simplest task, even just turning, getting out of bed, folding laundry. It's really difficult.
It's those hard days where Gumatau believes it's her body telling her to rest and recover. And since her diagnosis, she's had to make adjustments to her lifestyle and eating habits.
One is your limitations with sun, stress, managing stress. Another thing is what you eat, and then activities that you do. So for me, I actually stopped eating pork and beef. It's been about 6 years. Medication-wise, I take a lot of supplements in addition to all the prescriptive medications that I have been given.
Gumatauta takes it one day at a time, but is so grateful for the amount of support she has, not just from family and friends.
The support from other members of the lupus organization or those patients who have lupus, it's a very good support system, especially when you need to reach out, because only they would know what you're going through. Reaching out to someone who doesn't have lupus, they may not know what to say or do, but it's also good to reach out to family and friends so they're aware and they can ensure and give you support through your journey.
With May being Lupus Awareness Month, Gumatauta hopes more learn about the disease,
its effects, and what it can do to the body and to oneself. The only thing I can say too is, for those who have lupus, find somebody that you know you can walk through this journey with. You're not alone.
Reporting for KUAM News, I'm Jonagan Charkris. The Power of Purple, Living with Lupus, is brought to you locally by the Bank of Guam.
We wrap up the show with your birthday shoutouts. Here's KUAM's Jason Salas.
Hey, it is the 5th of May, everybody. Hey, payday for a lot of people here on the island. So, happy birthday. The happiest of birthday wishes to Mervin Atalig Lingao. Happy birthday. Best wishes to you in life from your friends and family. Always be the best and do your best every day. That's a great message. Mervin, everybody wishes you a happy birthday. James K, your birthday shout out says, happy birthday, boss. You are a great inspiration and role model to us. May God bless you and enjoy your special day from your best team. Really smart, guys. Giving birthday shout outs to the boss. That's awesome. You guys are a great team. Likewise, birthday wishes going out to Kirsten Rosario. Happy birthday to Kirsten from your friends, your family, and the gangs from the Better Brunch Bureau. That's a great group, man. How do we get in? How do we join that group? We got to get in. We'll talk. And a belated birthday shout out to a very good friend of ours, Madrid Borja, Maddie, born on May the 2nd. Happy belated birthday to Madrid. Love your fellow hot nerds. Man, some really good people.
And that's our news. Thank you so much for watching. We close out with some of the sights and sounds from last night's return of the Wednesday night market over at the Chamorro Village. Make sure you check it out and support some of the great businesses and vendors there.